As part of the MVQ, this is one of the requirements in it to do your full head application. And as I say, it can be, particularly on longer hair, it can be quite messy. What I tend to do on longer hair is actually start from the nape and work upwards. It's actually getting a bit more easier now as we're going down as it's getting slightly a bit longer through these layers. Obviously, as you can see, both myself and Maria are both in our protective equipment. Obviously, the reason being, the main thing is our hands. We don't want to get them stained, and also it can then lead on to your contact dermatitis. And obviously with the model, we have to make sure that they're completely gowned up, also using a gown, an apron, and then a see-through plastic one also. It is really important, your personal protective equipment, whilst applying any sort of chemical really. They can be strong chemicals, so they can have a tendency to stain and actually take colour out. And as I say, then there is the real risk of getting your contact dermatitis, which is not a very nice thing for a hairdresser. Okay. So you see now we're going back into that shorter area. Okay, so we're really making sure we're getting really good coverage, but we're not going anywhere near those roots at the moment. There we are. Okay, so that's all the one section done. So what we're going to do then is just drop it down. This will then let the natural air flow through and help to make it develop more evenly. If you do tend to leave it squashed down, you will find that you may get a patchy result. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to move on to the next section. And taking the section clips out, starting at the top, and we're working down. This is also quite a popular application when we do full head bleach. Roots always tend to take a lot quicker because of the heat of the head. So if we do any sort of bleaching work, then obviously we will do this application first. And also sometimes, as I said before, the ends of the hair, have usually got a bit more colour build up on it and can take a lot longer to develop. So that's all the back section. Again, we flick it all out. Okay, so that's all your back done. So we go around to the sides now, and exactly the same. Again, working in your triangles, applying your colour. Another health and safety tip is when you are applying colour, make sure that you are using a trolley, like what we've got here, and not working off the stylist bench in front of you. For numerous reasons really. One, it could actually obviously fall on somebody and ruin their clothes, and also the inhaling these sort of products can be quite can be quite damaging. When all of our products are mixed up, they are mixed up in a well ventilated area to avoid any problems. Again, just flick it out. And as you can see, none of the roots are actually covered at the moment. So what we're going to do now is just work on to the next side, our last section. You can actually see already the colour developing. The red mahogany is a really, really lovely colour. They give it a really nice shine. With a permanent colour, they'll grow out after anything between 5 to 6 weeks. And also it does obviously depend on the porosity of your hair. If your hair has got a lot of colour build up, it might not last as long. And also using the right products after. So still working in my sections. These are the best things to use for your sectioning, just your tint brush. If you start trying to use your pintail comb to do it, it just takes a bit longer. Also, you get really nice, neat sections. That is real key to applying colour, to make sure that your sections can be as clean as possible, so you don't get any, you don't miss absolutely, miss any parts of it. If you get a bit of colour around the ears or slight on the face, then we can just remove that with some stain remover. So again, I'm just using the tiny amounts of colour and just taking it all through from the mid-lengths through to the ends. When you're doing your sections, how I see it, as long as I can see right through the sections, because obviously you don't want them too big, otherwise the colour won't absorb. And that's always a good way to tell that your that the colour is absorbing correctly. It's really important around the hairline as well, obviously, to make sure that you get all these sort of little bits through into the colour. So what we can do is just make sure we've got all those bits in, and then we can release it again. What we need to do now is just cross-section check, just to make sure that I've got all of the mid-lengths to ends covered. So just going through it and just making sure that all the ends are covered. And again, this is really important to do this, to make sure that every part of the hair is covered, because it does show if we have missed any. So just going through it gently. Making sure that seems fine. Okay, so that's the full head application, which is obviously your mid-lengths to your ends. So we need to let it to develop for about 5 minutes, and then we'll go through onto the roots.